One possible option was the idea, and I'll just read it again, just those little verses. This is chapter 6 of Genesis, from verse 1. When men began to multiply on the face of the ground, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were fair, and they took to wife such of them as they chose. And then the Lord says he's not happy with man, and he'll limit our lifespan to 120 years. It says the Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterwards, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. These were the mighty men that were of old, the men of renown. So the Nephilim, giants as they're called, were the products of the union between the sons of God and the daughters of men. And this is why I find it difficult to believe they're just both two sets of human beings. How could giants come from two sets of human beings? This is a strange set of products from that union. Therefore, there's an option which I thought about. Well, maybe these spirits entered into these wicked men, made them more wicked, and then they made wives with these ordinary human females, and these giants were produced. That doesn't quite work for me, because if there's a spirit, say, possessing a man, and he goes and has sexual relations with a woman, you'll still get a normal human child. There's got to be something different that's producing something that is not normally human, not a normal human product. And so the sons of God, well, the daughters of men are clearly human females. That's quite clear. They're called daughters of men. So that's unambiguous. What is ambiguous is what are the sons of God. And because Nephilim come from the union of the sons of God and daughters of men, to me they have to be something other than mere human males. And that is the launching point for me. Now, we have something which we didn't explore before when we discussed this. It says that these Nephilim were in the earth then and afterwards. Because remember, God flooded the entire world. Everyone was killed, except Noah, his wife, and his sons and their wives. And yet we read in Numbers, for example, Chronicles, I think, as well. It's in Chronicles, I think, of still there being Rephaim and Nephilim. Now, Rephaim and Nephilim still. And it's interesting that you've got...
I just wondered about when the spies went out to look at the land. And
this is it. Yes. And these are described in this way and into Chronicles. So, although the human race is wiped out, save for Noah and his family, these creatures have appeared again. And so we have to ask, how does that happen? And there's views about that. But again, they can't be the products of a normal sexual interaction between a human female and a human male. Because human beings don't produce giants. They produce very tall men, but that's not the same as what's being described here. So the question is, how have these creatures come about? Well, it would seem, one could postulate, that once again, sons of God came down, violated God's law, had sexual interaction with the daughters of men, and produced Nephilim. And these, again, fought with men, as we read in the Bible. And they had to be killed again. But my question is, if that happened, were they all killed? No reason to believe they were all killed, but we see that they were in Canaan, in the land of Canaan, as you said. Joshua's spies saw them. They said they were like tall trees. And this is part of the reason, by the way, we can see why God, the good God, ordered the complete wiping out of peoples in that land. These were, as it were, a species infected by this hybridization, which was nothing but evil. But again, that's Canaan. That's because that's the promised land. So that's where the focus is. But what about the rest of the world? What was to stop them doing this sort of thing, these sons of God, elsewhere? And that's why all these accounts, now definitely valid accounts of unidentified aerial phenomena, UFOs, they're not all valid. There are many, photoshopped. But we know there are some that are valid. They're not from, almost certainly not from the USA, certainly not from the Russians nor the Chinese. They're just technology very different from anything, our even secret stuff, the most advanced nations have.
I mean, like I said before, I personally don't believe in aliens because it's craziness to me. I believe when I watched the rabbi was talking about, the rabbi was saying, like I said before, when we die, the spirit leaves and it goes wandering until it finds something, then it attaches itself to whatever it is,